G'day, g'day, g'day! Welcome to the Victory Channel. My name is Matt Fradd. This channel on YouTube exists to help people find freedom from pornography and the wounds that it inflicts. So if you're interested in this kind of content, do us a favor, click subscribe and that bell button. It'll help the channel grow and hopefully it'll help you as well. Today I want to discuss whether or not Elon Musk should ban pornography from Twitter. And I'm going to argue that he should. And I want to look at an article that came out from the New York Post, the headline being, "Ex-porn star Lisa Ann wants Elon Musk to ban X-rated content on Twitter." Now let me sort of address what I think will be the first response of many people who've heard me just say what I've said. Namely, didn't Elon Musk take over Twitter so that the platform would be less censorial? Isn't he an advocate of free speech? And here you are saying that he ought to ban pornography. I absolutely am saying he should do that. And for at least, well, a few reasons. Okay, the first is pornography constitutes obscenity. And obscenity is not protected under the First Amendment. All right. I've written a whole chapter in my book, The Porn Myth, about this if you're interested. But the second reason is that pornography, there is a mountain of evidence that is saying unequivocally, unambiguously that pornography is really detrimental to those who consume it. All right, so that's another good reason. Also, pornography is sometimes uploaded without the consent of one of the partners, and this is something that I'm sure has been and ought to be a headache for Twitter. They wouldn't have to worry about that. Children are exposed to pornography on Twitter, which is a horrendous thing. We could give more reasons, but let's look at this article here. I don't want to share my screen with you this time because there are some unfortunately sexually provocative images. Some might at least find sexually provocative. So I'm just going to read through it here and we'll comment as we go. So it begins by saying, an ex-porn star demanded that Elon Musk ban X-rated content on Twitter. First of all, we shouldn't be referring to porn performers as porn stars. It glamorizes something that is actually a horrendous thing and a very terrible thing for the woman herself or the man, should he be a porn performer. So I think we should stop saying porn stars and begin saying pornography performers. I mean, when you really think about the major difference, right, between pornography and prostitution, I think one of the main differences is, okay, well, there's a camera in the room in one of them. It's sort of filmed prostitution. There's nothing glamorous about prostitution. There's nothing glamorous about pornography. So she, Lisa Ann, says that Twitter is the largest distributor of illegal content to minors. Now, this is from a podcast of hers. She's speaking off the cuff, probably being hyperbolic here, but I would assume that it's at least a distributor, or at least one of the largest distributors of illegal content to minors. Right? That's shameful. And this needs to be sorted out. And we're going to see later as to why Twitter seems like it agrees that it's shameful. But we'll get to that. She said he needs to take action in order to protect children. Something I really hope Elon Musk takes a step ahead, this is her quote, and that he says, we're not doing this anymore. And if we are, you'll have to enter in your birthday. There will have to be an ID situation. There'll be levels of this junk, paraphrasing. That's what I'm hoping, she said. Now, I would say that even though it seems like this former pornography performer is opposed to pornography solely because children are hurt by it, that's not my opinion. I think pornography is one of these actions, say the consumption of it, that is wrong. And no circumstance, no intention can make it right. But I think we should stoop to conquer, and I'm all about an incremental approach if that's the only way we can kind of push the needle, as it were, and get Twitter to eventually decide that pornography should be banned, absolutely. She says, all right, so fair enough. Anne said there was no contradiction between her message and her career as a pornographic, I'm going to say, performer. Here's a quote from hers. "Yes, I did pornography for many years of my life. and I'm not hiding my past, as people tell me every day on social media when I'm wearing clothes. Why are you trying to deny your past? You're this, you're that. Well, look, certainly it's true. It's been said that every saint has a past, every sinner has a future, and of course we pray that Lisa Ann will be a saint one day. So, no, fair enough. I don't believe these two positions are inconsistent necessarily. But, this idea of denying our past or never having regrets of our past, can we stop this, please? I saw something the other day that said, have no regrets, you only live once. This is like the secular version of memento mori, which is Latin for remember your death. That's what you should be doing. You should be remembering your death, because life is short and you will have to face judgment. So you should absolutely regret things you've done in the past if those things were evil. Saying I have no regrets is a stupid thing to say, and I think it's something you should regret. How about that? She says, no, I'm not denying my past. I'm just evolving, and we're all allowed to evolve. Absolutely, fair enough. I mean, I hold opinions today that I didn't 20 years ago, and I'll hold opinions in 20 years from now, perhaps, that I don't hold today. Yes, of course. She says, my disdain for pornography on social media has nothing to do with porn, other than the fact that you are sharing it on platforms that have no age gate. All right, so I disagree with her there. Certainly, children being exposed to porn is an awful thing, and we should do everything we can to protect children from pornography, but there are many reasons to be against pornography that have nothing to do with children being exposed to it. The New York Post reached out to Twitter seeking comment. Twitter is one of the few social media platforms that allows pornography, though users aren't allowed to post explicit content in profile photos, header images, or live feeds. Facebook and Instagram do not allow nudity or explicit content on their platforms. Pornographic material. Now, I find this interesting. Pornographic material can be shared within tweets, but the person sharing the content must mark the account as sensitive, which then prompts a warning message to users who must acknowledge whether they want to see the content. Twitter's terms of service stipulate that the company could remove accounts devoted solely to explicit content. Now that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Let me read that again. Twitter's terms of service stipulate that the company could remove accounts devoted solely to explicit content. And then it says rightly, but the service has generally been lax in enforcing it. Now why? Why is Twitter on one hand saying we're okay with you posting pornography, but we're not okay if your account is solely devoted to that? It would seem that they think that an account solely devoted to pornography would be in some way and for some reason detrimental. Okay, well, how about you just be consistent? If you think that an account devoted to spreading pornography is not what you want on Twitter, then give me a good reason for that that doesn't also justify or validate my position about why you ought to ban it in every instance. I don't think you'd be able to. Musk, 50, now this article was written just before he took over at Twitter, but Musk, 50, is in the process of buying out Twitter shareholders and taking the company private after the board of directors approved his $44 billion takeover bid last month. In his public statements, Musk vowed to do away with censorship on Twitter. And again, I addressed that at the beginning. I'm glad that he wants to do away with censorship. It seems to me that if Twitter has become essentially the town square where ideas are shared, and then you ban people from sharing ideas you don't like, that even though you are a private company, this certainly isn't First Amendment friendly. And if we think there is something to the First Amendment, and I certainly do, that people should be able to speak freely, then we shouldn't be censoring people for saying things just because we disagree with them. But as I already mentioned, pornography is not protected by the First Amendment since it constitutes obscenity. And given how addictive it is, given how it destroys relationships, given how it gives children a false impression and a wrong impression of sex and romantic relationships. For all these reasons and many more, I would say that Twitter and Elon Musk should absolutely ban Twitter. Not ban Twitter. Ban pornography. Let me know what you think below. I would love to hear, or read rather, your opinions. Thanks.